So the first tip that I want to talk about is you need to remember or know what tile you're looping, because most things that I will be covering up in this video will be very important to each other, so you need to know every single step before moving on to the next one. So first, I want you to know what tile you're looping, and from there, we pretty much go to looping efficiently. Because if you think about it, you can't loop efficiently if you don't know what you're looping, right? So if you approach a loop and you know how the loop works or how the loop looks like, that's where you can start looping efficiently. Even blindly, you can start like hugging walls while looking behind you, but still know the muscle memory and knowing when to turn in that certain loop. I'm going to show some examples from what I mean, and you will see perfectly how it works. So let's say you're approaching a jungle gym, right? So you're approaching a jungle gym and you know what jungle gym you're looping. Now I'm approaching the short wall jungle gym or the long wall jungle gym. It doesn't matter. I'm approaching it. I'm getting chased by a killer. I already know what to do. I know what the next steps are. I know how to loop efficiently. I know how to take the easiest path on this loop. And most people would say, that's it. We know how to loop a jungle gym. We know how to loop it efficiently. We can loop it, probably 3 times until the window blocks, blah, 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 drop the pallet and go away. Now, that's not entirely true. Now, sometimes, as I mentioned in my previous videos, there are check spots. Now, let's say I'm approaching a loop. I know how to loop it. I'm looping a killer. Let's say the window is blocked, the pallet is dropped, and let's say the killer does not break the pallet. Now that is where check spots come in play. Now a lot of people know how to loop efficiently, don't get me wrong, but they don't know the mind games and the check spots from each tile. Now I made a bunch of videos on check spots on jungle gyms, filler pallets, TNL, you can name it. In case you don't know what check spots are, it's pretty much a mind game that is used by a lot of competitive players at the highest level. Of course, it does not work with every pallet, but it works with certain pallets. And on those certain pallets, you can feel invincible if you know the timing and when to vault on that pallet. Now, as I mentioned before, I made a few videos on this before in detail explaining on how to use check spots. Let me take an example. On Macmillan, there is a filler pallet also known as the God Rock. It's called the God Rock because it's a very safe pallet if you play it correctly. Every M1 killer has to break this pallet because it's so safe for survivors. Let's say you're loading into a public match, right? And you're playing against a killer, and that killer has a lot of knowledge. They know about check spots, they know about everything, and they're playing against you and they're chasing you. Once you reach this pallet and you drop it, that killer probably thinks that you don't know about the check spots, because there is many survivors that don't know about the check spots. A average survivor would just drop the pallet and probably run away or, try to mind game it in a different way and probably get hit or run away from the loop and getting caught way too early and getting hit anyway. And a good survivor will try to play check spots, and most killers don't expect that from public survivors, right? Now, if that killer is chasing you and you drop the pallet and the killer starts mind gaming you, try to play check spots. Now, check spots on this pallet, if the killer reaches near the tree, that is where you start vaulting the pallet. Now, if the killer reaches this spot over here, that is where you start vaulting the pallet from this side. But if you're standing on this side, you need to, move your camera a little bit so you can see better towards your left. That's where you can see the killer better, or the red stain, and that is where you start vaulting the pallet from that side. And if you keep doing that, the killer cannot hit you. This is check spots on the God Rock. Remember that every time you vault a pallet, try to stand still. Don't run, don't do any weird movements, because if you stand still, you lose bloodlust with a killer. Now remember that ping plays a huge difference. If you have ping, I would say higher than 60, maybe even 50, don't be surprised if you get hit if you didn't time it perfectly, because like I said, ping plays a huge difference. Also, bloodlust as well. If you already were getting chased by bloodlust and you approach this loop and you drop it and you start playing check spots, if the killer has bloodlust 1, I think you will get hit as well. So ping, bloodlust, Bad timing, you need good reaction, of course. So if you time it not correctly, if the killer is, you know, closer than what they're supposed to be in, then don't be surprised if you get hit. The next thing I want to talk about, looking behind you in a chase. I have many people commenting underneath my videos, especially recently on, I think on my comp lorry video, where I was looping killers as competitive lorry, where people say, why do you move your camera so much? Why do you look behind you so much? I mean, I honestly can't believe that people still ask that question, because it is insane. It blows my mind. In my opinion, the more you look behind you, as long as you know what's in front of you, then it doesn't matter how many times you look behind you. If you can look behind you and you know what's in front of you and you can loop efficiently, then why wouldn't you do it? Why would you not want to know where the killer is every single step that they take? That sounds insane, you know? There's people in my comments who say that it's completely normal camera movement, and that's really nice to see from people that it's completely normal camera movement, because it is. It is normal camera movement. I get it. If you're a new survivor or like average survivor, then looking behind you and trying to know what's in front of you and trying to loop efficiently is very difficult. But then there is those same people, I'm not calling out everyone of course, because there is new survivors, average survivors, who genuinely want to learn how to look behind you so many times while knowing what's in front of you, while knowing what you're looping. So I'm not discrediting these people, but there is people who don't know how to do it, and then they start hating on other people for doing it correctly. And I don't think that's nice. I don't think that's a good thing at all. If people want to do what they want to do, if they can look behind them multiple times while still knowing what's in front of them, or even good survivors who just aren't good in, like, you know, moving their camera with their camera movement, still massive respect if you're trying to learn it, because even myself, it took me a long time to be able to do what I'm doing now. So it is completely normal in the beginning that you don't know how to move your camera that fast. You don't even have to do it that fast. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to do it that fast. You don't have to do it every single second. You can do it like every 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Maybe 5 is a bit too much. 4, 3, that's perfect. Let's say you're approaching a jungle gym, right? You're running towards the pallet of the jungle gym, right? Of a long wall jungle gym. So you run, and let's say you don't look behind you. So you're at the pallet, and all of a sudden, you look behind you, and you don't see the killer. And then you're like, wait, where is the killer? I didn't look behind me. And all of a sudden, he comes from the other side, and then you either get hit, or you panic drop the pallet, and the pallet is wasted. Now, let's say you do know where the killer is. So while you look behind you, while you are approaching the pallet, you look behind you and you see where the killer is. You see him going to the left. So you know, okay, the killer is going to the left. Let me stand here for my check spots. I can see everything from this side, and I won't be getting hit because I know where the killer is. So in my opinion, looking behind you is super, super important. Then I didn't want to mention this, but I feel like, why not, since I'm talking about looking behind you? It's sensitivity. Now, I have very high sensitivity, which allows me to look behind me and back in front of me in less than like a second. So I can do it very quick. So make sure you don't have a too low sensitivity. I would say between 80, 100. I'm playing on controller, so, you know, in between 80 and 100 is perfect. It's perfect speed to look behind you and back in front of you. Without losing momentum. That is also important. You don't really lose momentum while looking behind you and back in front of you. I genuinely heard people saying that they do play on like 50, 60, and that is way too low. That is way too low. Try to avoid that. Maybe try to build up. Try 70, try 80, and you will get used to it. You'll get used to it pretty fast. So yeah, 80, in between 80, 100 is the way to go. So if we go all the way back to the beginning of this video, the best way on how to learn this, I would recommend you to go into a custom game with a friend. You don't even need to do it with the killer. Like, all you need to do is find the jungle gym and try to loop it efficiently. Try to like hug the walls, try to hug the whole jungle gym and go around it multiple times just so you get used to it, just so you know the muscle memory already. And then once you get that, try to do the same thing while looking behind you. First you do it without looking behind you, then you do it while looking behind you, and then from there, you can do it while the killer chases you. Then you can tell your friend, chase me from this side, I want to like see how good I am from this side. Then you can do it from the other side, and then you can try and tell your friend, you know what, try to actually catch me right now. Try to actually mind game me right now. So like I said, looking behind you, knowing the tile, looping efficiently, check spots, and you'll see how much you improve. Now, let's say you're approaching a loop, right? But you don't want to use that palette. Or actually, let's say you're approaching a loop, but you kind of want to connect this loop, but you're not sure if you're going to make the other palette because you're not sure about the distance between you and the killer. Then it's very important that before you even approach the loop, to analyze what's around you. I made a video a few months ago, and I feel like not many people have seen it already, and I'm going to mention this video here as well because it's such a important video, and I feel like the information provided in the video is so important, and I even think that even from this video single-handedly, you can learn so many things. And this all happened on stream a few months ago when I was playing with a friend because we loaded in on Burgos, and I told my friend, I said, this map is pretty good because look, you have this palette over here, then you have that palette and that palette. So I was already analyzing ahead of me before even knowing who the killer was. I didn't even know what type of killer I was going to play against, and still I made my whole game plan in case I do get chased. And then when I did get chased, I did the game plan and it turned out amazing. I do apologize for the people who have seen it already. If you have seen it already, you can skip to the minute on the screen. But if you're a new survivor, I 100% recommend you watching this because it's so educational. I just want to say, please ignore my voice in that video. I hated it so much, and I honestly did not want to show this video because of the voice, but I just hope you guys just ignore it, you know? Because I dislike it a lot, but I'm still going to show this for you guys. So here it is. What's going on in a mind of a 10,000 hour survivor while getting chased? Let's get into it. Okay, so right off the bat, I see a pallet in front of me, I see a window in front of me, and the reason why I recognize the window is because I recognize this building, and far from the distance, I see shack.
Like, for example, look at this pallet. Look where this is gonna combine. We have this combined into this window here. Like, you can literally, like, and then go around and then go to that pallet again.
Not many people would understand why I paused the video right here as well, but as you can see from the far distance, I see there is a pallet next to shack that I can connect as well. And there is a reason why I decided to look in that direction. So at this point, a few seconds in, I know there is a pallet in front of me, I know there is a window in front of me, I know there is shack that I can connect as well, and I know there is a pallet next to shack.
It's a Oni. He's coming.
It is very important that while getting chased is to recognize the killer's perks. Now I see that the killer is prioritizing the window over going around. So I'm assuming that they have bamboozle. Now let's say they have bamboozle level 3, the window should be blocked for 16 seconds. Now I will make that window a lot earlier than 16 seconds. So in the back of my head, I already know that they don't have bamboozle.
He's probably gonna bamboozle it. He prioritized the window over anything else.
When it comes to playing against an Oni, it is very important to play super safe. Now you should avoid giving Onis power early game. So early game you need to play as safe as possible. What I did here is I was pretending to loop the pallet, I was pretending to greet the pallet basically, but I decided to go for a pallet vacuum so I can guaranteed get the stun and, you know, continue looping.
Okay.
On me. Yeah, I'm going shack. He might leave me here. No, he's still on me. He's committing. I'm at check now.
Seeing how much distance I have from the killer, there is absolutely no need for me to stay around shack. There is no need for me to just pre-drop shack right now and continue looping. I can do it. I can pre-drop shack right now and then, you know, continue pre-dropping other pallets while my teammates do gens. But what I decided to do instead is I decided to connect the pallet next to shack, which is a jungle gym. I decided to pre-drop that pallet after, and then later move on to shack, and then later connect the other loops that I memorized in the beginning of the game.
I have jungle gym next to Shack. I'm using that. He's moonwalking himself.
Right here, I already know that the killer does not have bamboozle, so for the killer to vault the window is very unlikely. However, a lot of killers like to, you know, fake left and right, fake to go around both sides, and then still vault the window. So this is what I did. I tried to play it as safe as possible, see what the killer is doing, and the killer decided to vault the window, so I continued looping the other direction.
Yep, vaulting window. No bamboozle, by the way. Yep, bye.
After vaulting the jungle gym window once, I decided to pre-drop the pallet as soon as possible, knowing in the back of my head I still have Shack pallet, I have the pallet next to Shack pallet, and I have the window where we first started.
I'm pre-dropping and you guys can just gen rush.
The first reason why I paused this video right here is because it's super important to look behind you. I know I'm gonna keep saying this in every single video. Keep looking behind you and pay attention at the killer's red stain so you don't get mind gamed. And the second reason is I have enough time to drop Shack pallet and head back to the first window where we first started. So there is no need for me to use the filler pallet that was next to Shack. And I can use that for later on because, once again, remember that pallet.
I'm dropping Shack.
The distance between me and the killer is once again insane, and I have enough time to go to the window where we first started instead of just using the pallet next to Shack.
I'm sorry, Ani, greeting is dead. No one greets anymore, it's 2023.
At this point, the fact that this Oni did not drop chase, knowing I have the same exact loop since the beginning of the game, blew my mind. And there's still 4 gens left. They could have perfectly dropped chase to go and defend gens to have a way better result than what's coming for them. Because at that point, I already knew this is going to be a 5-gen chase with the setup that I have in my head.
He's bloodlusted as fuck. I'm back to Shack.
Yep, you heard that correct. I'm back to Shack. And remember that pallet that I still haven't used? Yeah. At this point, what's going on in my head is that we're deep into the game, probably mid-game. The gens are going, you know, gens are popping, still no hooks, nothing. The killer is getting nervous, which means if a killer gets nervous, they start performing a lot worse. So at that point, it's safe to say that I already got into this Oni's head. So what I wanted to do here is, I wanted to pre-drop the pallet and then go for the Shack window. But I knew that the distance between me and the window was a little bit too far, and the Oni was probably going to catch up.
Tell me.
The only good play that the Oni did in this whole game was cutting me off for not making the window. I'm sure that this is what they meant to do. I hope this is what they meant to do, but they cut me off to not make the window. However, I decided to, you know, move my game plan and still made the window in a different way.
He knows I'm gonna take Shack window. I can make that.
Nice, good chase.
Nice, still on me.
Right here, it's very sad to see. It is actually sad. I mean it. I genuinely mean it, because the second gen just popped. The Oni got power. And the fact that they did not drop chase to go after some other survivors to potentially catch a survivor off guard and, you know, get an insta-down on a full health survivor, and the fact that they didn't do that is insane. So they decided to still commit to me, knowing I'm running to the same exact place where we first started, where this whole video has been, you know, basically going on. It is honestly insane. It is absolutely insane. So the fact that this Oni decided to lose the game just to catch one survivor is insane. So for the people saying that, well, you shouldn't just have teabagged, teabagging should never get into a killer's head. Ever. This should never be a thing. This should not exist. Any good killer should not get offended by teabagging. And this is exactly why. Now, once again, I'm assuming it's the teabagging. Otherwise, I don't see why this Oni would chase me. I see a lot of killers use the excuse, well, I want to chase good survivors to be good as a killer, but then why don't you do 1v1s? Why don't you do 1v1s? There is a reason people do 1 versus 1 in custom games to improve instead of just going into a public match and then end up losing. I mean, I honestly don't know. I'm just trying to help. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just gonna continue playing.
Yep, on me still. Nice, easy.
What is going on in my head at that point is that it was safe to say that the killer already lost the game, and we just continue looping. And before people are going to say, well, don't you like getting chased and blah blah blah, I'm not complaining about me getting tunneled or chased at all. Like, I love it so much. In fact, I love it way more than killers just kicking gens and holding 3 gens and blah blah blah. I'm just showing this video mainly because there is a lot of killers out there that blame survivors for losing when this is how they play. Do you see my point now? Do you see it, or do I have to be even more clear?
Yeah, he's getting juicy. He lost the game. 5 gen chase, 5 gen chase. Did I speak too soon? No, I did not.
In my head, the Oni's power is gone. I have enough time to make it all the way to Shack, all the way to the jungle gym behind Shack, and continue from there. What we also know from now on is that I didn't get to see 80% of the map. I only used 3 pallets, and the chance of Oni getting the power again is very, very, it's very, very low, unless they do manage to hit another survivor. And yeah.
It's 5 gen chase, it's 5 gen chase, 100%. With 3 pallets, I only use 3 pallets.
Wow.
Because I have an insane broken loop here.
From now, with the 4th gen popping, I take a look to the bottom left of my screen. I see that adrenaline is about to kick in, and with the 4th pallet in front of my face, I know it's the nail in the coffin, and that's basically where I'm going to have adrenaline, and good luck chasing me full health.
Nice, GG, GG. Give me adrenaline, guys, please.
Okay.
GG, he lost. I adrenaline. Bye.
Oh, this feels bad.
Remember, chat, when I told you I'm gonna show you an example of pre-dropping and having a team that does gens? This is the example right here. It's nothing's impressive on this.
So yeah, as you saw, it's pretty insane if you plan ahead on what you're about to do. So I just wanted to put that out there, and I hope you learned something from it. And then we come to the very last step. Now, once you have all of these connected, you can start doing 1v1s. Now, of course, I know what people are going to say. You can do 1v1s already from the beginning. There is no need to learn all these steps and so on. It's a waste of time. Well, I would not recommend 1v1s for someone who is absolutely new to the game. Like, new. Because all that's going to happen is the person is going to get, is going to lose every single match, even against like average 1v1 players. Not even the best. Like, even against like, not so good or like average 1v1 players. So telling a very, very new player to like go do 1v1s in the beginning is not what I would recommend. I would recommend them to learn the basics first, and from there you can start doing 1v1s. Now, 1v1s is a very good thing in improving, because if you do 1v1s with a killer, the killer is solely focusing on you. All their main goal is you. They want you only. And your main goal is to survive as long as you can, right? So it's not like a public match where the killer has to go and think about generators, think about how many hooks they have, thinking about how many people are dead on hook, thinking about dropping chase to go defend this, dropping chase to go chase this survivor. No, the killer doesn't think about all of that. The killer is only thinking about you in a 1v1. And that is why that if you're very good in doing 1v1s, once you play public matches, it feels so easy. I was playing 1v1s in DBD League. It's a Discord server that you can join. I'm gonna tell you, there is a lot of good players there. I won a lot, I lost a lot, and it's completely normal. So doing 1v1s is really, really good. And you will be surprised how many other good players are there as well. Me, as a good survivor, I can do 1v1s, I can win a lot, I can lose a lot, and it's completely normal. Of course, it also depends on RNG. Sometimes the other player has better pallets on the map, better tiles, and that's how you lose as well sometimes, which is, you know, kinda unfair, but it is what it is. And yeah, knowing how to loop will take some time. Like, remember that. No one was a looping god in DBD the very first weeks or months when they started playing. Anyone who tells you that is without a doubt lying. To be good in the first few weeks and months is straight up a lie. The reason why I do mention that is because a lot of new players believe that you can, you know, get like good in looping very fast, which is not true. Me myself, I struggled a lot back in 2017, but it was way more easier because there was very few maps, like the variations of every single tile and loop, there weren't many. So you had like jungle gyms, long wall, short wall, you know, pallet gym. Like, you didn't really have the like Yamoka tile, you didn't have like all those new filler palettes that they added. So learning the map was like really quickly. Same thing with killers. There was only a few killers back then. But like I said, don't lose hope, because me myself, I know some people and friends that even started playing in 2019 and they are insanely good. But that is why I make a lot of these educational guides, because I want you to become the best version of yourself. And I enjoy making these, so it's a win-win, you know? Most of my guides are made from beginners to all the way advanced, to even tips that you can use in competitive matches. For example, check spots. If I see a friend and I can see that they're not doing well, I'm not going to lie to them and say, you're doing well. I am going to tell them what they can do better, so next time, you know, we play more often, they improve, you know? And I feel like for you guys, you need to do the same thing. If you have friends that are new or they do mistakes, don't be afraid to call them out and say, maybe next time try to do this better. If they don't like it, then it's a red flag. Because there is nothing wrong in like trying to help out your friend. It's not about knowing better or feeling selfish or anything. In fact, you're like trying to help out a friend to become as good, if not maybe even better than you. I'm here to help you guys out. If you can help out other players, I would really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for being here. I really hope this guide was super helpful. And if you have more questions, you can join my Discord. It's in the link in the pinned comment. I will put the CHECKSPOT videos in the description as well, with some other guides that are very important. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!